And hello there again, everybody. This is Big Paulie coming to you with FHM 7 Birth of the Bolts. We're now playing the first two games of January of 1994. Didn't do too badly in December of 1993. Recording date on this March 30th, 2021. As I fire up the old FHM 7 here. We're not in last place anymore. We are 5 points clear of the Ottawa Senators. We're at 26 points after 39 games. They have played one more game, which I think they call a game in hand, and they're at 21 points. But we'll look through what happened the rest of December of the year. That was 1993. Played these first 5 games for you last week. So we went on the road, lost to Montreal 2-1, then blitzed Ottawa 7-3, a 4-4 tie with Boston, a 2-2 tie with Buffalo, and then losses to Pittsburgh, St. Louis in Florida, Quebec, and then came back and defeated Ottawa 5-3 to wrap up 1993. So, as we look at the entire standings, the whole Megillah, if you will, it is Pittsburgh leading everybody by a point over Detroit. These two could be beating in the Stanley Cup of 1994 in terms of this sim. Lemieux doing very well in the scoring department, 74 points. He's got 39 goals, and Francis of Pittsburgh, 44 assists. So we're going to go off and play Washington in this first game. And we're going to get this game started. We're playing in the classic mode. It's Tugnut in goal against Kolzig for Washington, Dale Hunter, and Brian Bradley. And we'll drop the puck and get this baby started. Pittsburgh leading the way in the east, Detroit leading the way in the west. And right away we got Pavanka for interference, 2 minutes, and of course Tampa Bay with their pathetic power play at 10%. But you never know what could develop. And another penalty, Kenny Johnson tripping. So we have even strength 4-on-4 for a little bit. Picked up some new subscribers. Thank you. This week that has just passed. OOTP 22 has begun. We have already done 4 parts because I did a part earlier today and I had to correct what I had said because I made a very obvious error that one of our subscribers caught, and I thank you very much for that. I don't mind making mistakes. I don't mind getting my mistakes corrected. It's Johnson who scored, assisted by Rob Ramage, and Tampa Bay on the board, 1-0 at the Cap Center, which I believe they were still using at this time before they moved to the, I think it was called the MCI Center. So the Lightning off to a 1-0 lead. We'll play an hour's worth of games, which should mean that I should be able to get 5 games in for you all today. We'll play the first 5 games of January. Pavanka, he's racking up the penalty minutes. He gets 2 minutes for slashing. And I am going to go over here real fast and adjust my fan because it is hot as the blazes here today in good old Tampa Bay on this March 30th, near 90 degrees. And it's too early for it to be 90 here. Somebody's about to score a goal. Who is it? Washington has it now. Tampa Bay gets it back. Shots early are 8-5 in favor of the Lightning. So Brendan Baker, thank you very much for the correction on the OOTP. And we have another goal. It is Hartman making it 2-0 Tampa Bay. Also want to acknowledge Beecher. See, I said my last name. Bleacher Bums Gaming. They had a contest about who would win a fight between Henry Armstrong and Aaron Pryor, and I went Armstrong by a slight decision, and it wound up being a draw. And the guy who won the contest already had the heavyweight set of Glory Days boxing, so it looks like yours truly is going to get a hands on that heavyweight set. So we may have some Glory Days boxing for you in the next couple of weeks. And I enjoy watching that game being played. When Al Red Sox fan plays it, or Kurt Berglund plays it, or when Anthony himself plays it. Always a fun watch for me. And it'll be the first time I've ever done cards and dice on this channel. Don't know how I'm going to set that up, but I'll think of something. Callie Johansson called for the interference. Tampa Bay again on the power play, although they really haven't needed it yet. I think they have scored their 2 goals on even strength situations. So yeah, Bleacher Bums Gaming, special shout out to you. Hope to be getting in touch with you soon. We might have a little heavyweight league of boxing to mess around with on a weekly basis. 2-0 in favor of Tampa Bay as we go to the second period. Also became news today that if you're on Social Security and you've been waiting for your checks, that's not my case, but I have a family member, Kevin Hatcher and Mike Hartman on the fight card, so they'll each sit for 5. If you are on Social Security and you haven't gotten your stimulus check yet, you're about to get one by April 7th. So Lucio Topakiev or something like that, 2-1. I don't know how you pronounce that name. Topai, maybe? I have to call up Mike Emmerich in the pronunciation chart on that name. Holding against Pavanka. Pavanka again. He must like the penalty box that Washington's Cap Center has. And Tampa Bay capitalizes. They get a power play goal. Igor Veretsky makes it 3-1 now in favor of Tampa Bay. But Adam Creighton gives it right back up, and Washington will go on an immediate power play here. Tampa Bay looking good in the first period and fraction of this game. They're out shooting Washington 17 shots to 10. This is also the night they're playing the first 2 games of the Elite 8 basketball tournament. Actually, no, it's the last 2 games of the Elite 8. They played the first 2 games last night. My apologies. And baseball season starts in a couple of days. Try to give you an education when I do these videos, although sometimes it's me who needs the educating. And we are now down to about 11:30 in the second period, a 3-1 Tampa Bay lead. This game was played on New Year's Day, 1994, so cue up the Bono music, and you too. And all isn't quiet on this New Year's Day as Sandro Bertaglia has to leave the game with bruised ribs. We have 9 minutes now left in the second, a 3-1 Tampa Bay lead. We don't usually get 90-degree weather until about May, and we're already getting it here in the, I guess you could call it the early spring of 2021. Of course, the Lightning play tonight in real life against, is it Carolina they're playing again? I'm checking my score app on my phone. And we have another injury, Randy Burridge. Oh, he ruptured his MCL. That'll sit him for a while. Yeah, they play Columbus tonight, 7 o'clock. At Tampa Bay, if you are keeping track of the game for sports betting purposes, the total is 5.5, and Tampa Bay is minus 240. Gonzaga and USC play later in the Elite 8 action, and UCLA and Michigan play later. I like the over in USC Gonzaga, by the way. And we have played 2 periods. My goodness, where does the time go? It is 3-1 in favor of the Lightning. Can they hold on and win against the Capitals team that's not too bad, all things told? And now Tampa Bay looking to go up 4-1, and they do. Kolzig having an off night tonight as Hammerlick hammers one home. DeMaio and Bradley on the assist. 4-1 Tampa Bay. Clock still ticking. Shots are 27-12. Tampa Bay dominant in this battle tonight. And it's going to be 5 for fighting. Dale Hunter taking exception with Joe Rickey. And they will sit 5 minutes each. Tugnut doing a very good job on goals tonight for Tampa Bay. Can't say the same for Olaf Kolzig. Oli the goalie, as I think they used to call him. And we're now a third of the way through the third. It is still 4-1 Tampa Bay dominant. But they always say the 3-goal lead is the most dangerous lead in hockey. And maybe that'll come to pass before this game is over with. Shots now 30-13. Tampa Bay leading by a wide margin in shots, but 3 shots, 3 goals, and you're back to a tie game. Now it's 32-13. Tampa Bay piling up the shots. Johnson's played a great game today for Tampa Bay, as has Roman Hammerlick. Bradley has a game rating right now of 83. He's at center. 34-13 now the shot total. So Tampa Bay showing signs of life, and we have roughing against AstraZeneca of Tampa Bay. So the Caps go on a power play. Maybe they get 1 goal back in the next couple of minutes. We'll see. And they do. Let's see who got it. It was Saku Koivu, assisted by Frolov of Washington, and it is 4-2 with under 5 to go. You don't want to go to sleep with a 3-goal lead. You never want to go to sleep with a 3-goal lead. Under 3 to go. Will Washington pull their goalie, try to get to within a goal to get to a point where they could tie the game on the next goal? Well, we're down to about 1:09, a penalty against Washington, Ridley, and that will pretty much shut the door on any chances they have. Because it's 5-on-4, they have to pull the goalie to make it 5-on-5. And Tampa Bay seals the deal. Kenny Johnson with a goal. Varitsky assisting, and it's 5-2. And that'll be icing on the cake. And that's all she wrote. 5-2, Tampa Bay winning. 3 stars of the game, Hammerlick, Johnson, DeMaio, all with Tampa Bay. And nobody had a bad game either side. No milestones were reached. So, and the final shot total was 43-17 Tampa Bay. Nice win for them. And that gets us up to 12-23-4, 28 points. It's always nice when you can... Yeah, Burridge had a serious injury. It's going to be 7 months to recover from a ruptured medial collateral ligament, the MCL. And we have a suspension of Bruce Driver. He will miss 1 game, at least the next game. Gretzky now has a point game streak to 23 as they played Toronto, where they won 5-2 at Toronto. Board confidence upgrade. Kubo, the owner, thinks this season's disappointing so far and you really need to improve the team. Well, I'm trying. In the last few weeks, the team has played decently and is on the right track. Your record last month improved to 5-6-3. From a long-term perspective, Okuba is unhappy about your work with the Lightning. You may have to get the team back on track very soon. And Ziminer about to rejoin the Tampa Bay Lightning. And now we'll play our next game. It's against another expansion team, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. I think we played them in a previous episode, but we'll play them again. This will be at the Thunderdome in good old St. Petersburg, Florida. Tampa will be the home team. Game 2 for you in this video as we reach the 15-minute mark. And we'll come back with you next week to play February. We'll sim out all the games that were left in January. Here is a chance for the Lightning to consolidate their winning streak going here. I don't think anybody expected them to beat Washington, but they did. But now they have the Mighty Ducks, and that should not be a hard sell to try to beat them. Tampa Bay has gotten the first 6 shots, but it's Anaheim with the first scoring chance. Or so it appears. And no, it's Tampa Bay getting the goal. It is Brian Bradley, assisted by Sean Chambers. 1-0 Tampa Bay, playing some good hockey right now. 4:20. Somebody go light up. Into the first period was the time of that goal. And we have tripping against Horak, and Tampa Bay goes on the power play, which is now improved to 11%. And Tampa Bay about to get another goal here. No, it's Anaheim that evens it up. And that is Karpatsev, assisted by Jamie Leach, and we're tied one goal each. I really said one game each. Now, another goal coming up. And it goes to Anaheim. So Anaheim with a quick strike. 3 shots on the board, and 2 of them have gone for goals. It's 2-1, Mighty Ducks. We are midway through the first period. Shots are 9-4, 9-5 now in favor, 9-6 in favor of Tampa Bay. Fighting, we have Hartman and Koser getting into it, so they will each take a little time out to reflect on their misdeeds. Hooking Jamie Leach as I eat a piece of candy. Crackle, if you must know. Hershey's Crackle. Sometimes I forget I'm on I'm on camera or I'm recording something, and I just go into my normal routines of life. This being one of those times. Okay, that's the end of the first period. 2-1 Anaheim leading. Shots are 14-7 in favor of the Bolts. Now 15-7. Uh-oh, the Lightning are going to be shorthanded for a couple. The Ducks also struggling with their power play, only 11%. They have been outshot 16-7, but yet they lead 2-1. So Tampa Bay about to score here, I'm thinking. And they do. Rob DeMaio, assisted by Veritsky, and it is 2-2. 3:19 into the first period. Second period, I beg your pardon. So growing up in public school in Pinellas County, Florida, which is where Clearwater and St. Petersburg are, but not Tampa, um, they would make the kids sell candy to keep, like, say, the math department going. And we got another goal here. I'll tell you my story here a little bit. And that is Brian Bradley, assisted by Verdquist. 3-2 Bolts. They would always make the kids sell candy by hook or by crook. And it was usually one department one year in middle school, and then going into high school would be in somebody else's department. But the one thing they always seemed to have in common is they would always make the kids sell candy. And you get these big fat candy bars for like $1 each, and you could get it in caramel, crunchy, or almond. Now, I was a big kid in school, so guess who they always look to sell candy bars? Yours truly. I would just sell the minimum and just be done with it. Like if you sell a box of candy bars, and there were 24 candy bars in a box, they would give you $1, and they would keep the other 23, and that's what the price of the candy bars was. Hooking by Shendelev, and the Bolts go on a power play here. So the school kept 23 of the $24, and if you sold, it was a sales gimmick. And if you sold the most boxes, then you would get like a bike or something like that. But it was kind of like a kiddie version of Glengarry Glen Ross. Adam Creighton scored the goal. It was Hartman and Ricky on the assist, and now the Tampa Bay Lightning have opened up a 4-2 lead. They're out shooting the Ducks 30-10. And this is what we saw with Washington in the first game. They're not giving the opposition too many chances to shoot, which is a sign this team is likely to improve. The Lightning are. I would just be happy if we made the playoffs within 4 seasons. But we're putting together some wins, although against some lesser-known teams. That's the end of the second. It's 4-2, Tampa Bay leading. So we go to the third. I was thinking of the third period there. And we have hooking against Adam Creighton, so Anaheim on the power play. Can they cut the lead down to a goal? And the answer is yes. Roman Horak, Sandlak, and Ogrodnik assisting. 4-3 now in favor of Tampa Bay. So if Anaheim gets the next goal, it's a tie game. If the Lightning get the next goal, they're 2 ahead. Goaltender interference against Kip Miller, so the Bolts go on a power play. Mess around with the goalie, that's liable to start a fight. Four minutes into the third, 4-3, Lightning still leading. As about the midway point of this second season, they're beginning to show signs of improvement. They were 5-6-1 in December. Catching the breaks they really haven't caught in the first year and change of their campaign. Hooking against Nilsson, so Tampa Bay back on the power play, hoping they could cash in here and go up 5-3. High sticking against Bob Rouse, or Ruse. So now Tampa Bay again with the power play. In fact, they're up 2 men. At this point, 5-on-3. You got to cash in on this, right? By this point, it was 5-on-4, but the Lightning get a goal. Uritsky assisted from Bradley. 5-3 with about half a period to go. And how about one more? It is Creighton assisted by Bergquist. It is 6-3, Tampa Bay. Shots are now 40-18. So the Lightning have done pretty well with their the fellow expansion brethren, with the exception of the Florida Panthers. The Panthers have kind of owned them. And another goal, three straight. Hartman, assisted by Verdquist. It's 7-3 now, Lightning. And Facette now in goal for Anaheim, as Anaheim has pulled their starter and has put their backup in, or Facette. Under 6 minutes to go. Tampa Bay racking up some goals here. Sean Chambers with an outstanding game. His rating right now, 82. And we have Crossman picking up a holding penalty. Bradley, his game rating right now, a 94. You don't see too often. And we have 5 different players on the Lightning with goals. Cross-checking for Anderson. So now Anaheim with a 5-on-3. Hooking against Joe Rickey. Oh, the penalty box getting crowded now. Under 2 to go. Just a matter of will we have any more goals. I think the outcome has been decided. Under a minute. Now under 30 seconds. And the Lightning win again. 7-3 over Anaheim. And again, the stars of the game were all Bolts, Bradley, Bergquist, and Hartman. And Cowley and Facette had bad games for Anaheim. But this was another game the Lightning dominated. Shots wound up being 43-20 in favor of Tampa Bay. So they're moving on up to the deluxe apartment in the sky. Examiner at the ready. Lemieux has a point streak going of 13 games. Brian Leach had a strong game. He scored 5 assists as the Rangers beat the Florida Panthers 8-2. And I think that covers everything. Turcotte had a good game for the Rangers in that 8-2 win. He scored 3 goals. So now the Lightning are 13-23-4. And they go now to the Great White North and play the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are not a bad team at this point in time. And we're going to play this game out. Tugnant will face Grant Fuhr over from Edmonton. Doug Gilmour was the top player on the Maple Leafs, that I remember. 14 goals, 33 assists, 47 points in 38 games, and Bradley 14, 17, and 31 in 40. So let's play this game out. Tampa Bay up in Toronto. Game number 3 for you. Looking like we're on track to do 5 as this comes to you at the 28-minute, 13-second mark, according to my OBS. And we're off to a slow start. Shots even at a goal each. A shot each, I'm sorry. No goals yet. And the first scoring chance at this point in time will go to, looking like Toronto. And no, it is Tampa Bay scoring. Hammerlick with Anderson assisting. 1-0. Shots are even 2-2. Hope you all are enjoying this Tampa Bay Lightning campaign. I know somebody else on FHM does the Tampa Bay Lightning from the expansion onward. I didn't mean to copy their idea. And hooking against Rob Zomner, so the Leafs now have a chance to draw even. And we are even now. Semeta assisted by Ellett and Gilmour, and we are tied at a goal each. Lightning score. Lightning score, it was Veritsky and Hammerlick and DeMaio assisting. Not often you hear the whistle sound effect in this game. 2-1, Bolts leading. Tampa Bay really hitting their groove right now. This is the third game. We're going to try to get 5 in. It'll depend on where we are in terms of recording time after the fourth game. The first game we are eclipsing an hour will be the last, so usually that has been 5. Shots are 7-6 in favor of Toronto. But the Bolts get the third goal to go up 3-1. Veritsky assisted by Chambers and Hodge. 3-1 in favor of Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay playing some good hockey right now. Probably the best they have played since they began. Shots are even 7-7. Hammerlick playing a good game. Bergevin playing a good game right now for Tampa. And Rudy Posacek gets called for hooking Tampa Bay on the power play, and their power play in these last 2 games is boosted up to now to 12%. To be good, you really got to be at 20, and to be good penalty killers, you got to kill at least 80% of your shots, 80% of your penalties. Closing in now on the end of the first period. Toronto still leading in shots 9-8, but Tampa Bay leading on the scoreboard. As the first period draws to an end, it's 3-1 Tampa Bay. We go to our second period of game number 3 for you in January 1994. Lightning showing some flashes of brilliance, and we like to see that. Nothing going on this first few minutes of the second period. Shots are 13-12. Tampa Bay finally getting off a whole bunch of shots in a row now, 17-12. 8 minutes gone by second period. Tugnut and goal for the Lightning against Grant Fuhrer. Midway through the second period now. Hammerlick still the best game in terms of game rating at 66. And nobody in the 60s for the... Actually, no, the Gilmore is in the 60s right now. Fighting, Wendell Clark and Mike Hartman got at it. So they sit. Quiet second period with a 3-1 lead. See, I want it to be the third period, but that ain't a happening thing yet. Boarding against Joe Rickey, so Toronto going on the power play. Of course, nowadays you get a boarding penalty, you could get a game misconduct. Toronto with it. Lightning with it. And Toronto on the board. Gilmore assisting Zemlicka. And we have high sticking against Rudy Posacek. How often do you see in this game a team score a goal and then commit a penalty? Happens quite a lot. And cross-checking against Yannick Perreault. So Tampa Bay now 5-on-3 edge. And here they go. Can they cash in? They do. Well, 5-on-3, you better cash in. That's Hammerlick, Chambers, and Hodge assisting 4-2 at 17:32 of the second period. Down to about a minute in the second. And we have ended the second. Shots are even, 22-20, but Tampa Bay finding the way to be in the lead. They're up 4-2 as we go to the final 20 minutes, barring a 5-minute overtime should we be tied. Hammerlich's game rating now up in the 70s. Chambers playing a good game at 76. His game rating right now. So Chambers improving. It's Joe Rickey called for a hooking, and that gives Toronto a power play to try to score a goal and cut it to 1. And here we go. They get a goal, 4-3. Dave Villette, Warshevsky, and Zemlicka. And Toronto gets another lick on the board. It's 4-3 in favor of Tampa Bay. Slashing against Jamie McCoon. See, again, you score a goal, you give up a penalty. It's almost like it was written down somewhere. 5.5 gone by in the third. Tampa Bay now being outshot, 26-23. Under 11 now, third period, a 4-3 game. We still appear to be on a pace to have 5 games for you here. Under 9 minutes to go, still 4-3. Tampa Bay wins this one, they really have been on a roll. Shots are now 28-26 in favor of the Leafs. I don't think as playing as the Lightning I've ever had a stretch of games where I've won like 3 in a row. So that would be fun. Under 5, shots are now 32-27, 33-27 in favor of the Leafs. But Tampa Bay leading on the scoreboard. A very tense game. Next goal here, which looks like is imminent, will be key. And the Lightning get it. Hartman assisted by Chambers, 5-3. Oh, that goal might wind up being big. Under 3 to go. Under 2 to go. Shots are now even, 33 all. Toronto has pulled their goalie. And they get a goal. Gilmore, assisted by Lefebvre and Perreault, and hold on to your seatbelts now, folks. 5-4, 43 seconds left. Fuhrer quickly goes back in goal, but the Lightning get an empty netter with 7 seconds left. Creighton assisted by Anderson and Chambers. Book it, Dano. 6-4, Lightning win. That's 3 wins in a row. And let's see. Chambers was the first starting, 4 assists. Zemlicka, a goal and an assist, and Hammerlich, 2 goals and an assist. So great effort on the road for the Lightning. Shots were even, 34-34, holding back a cough. See, this is why you shouldn't eat while you do a video. And we're going to look through the, let's see here. Johnson's suspension has ended. Suspension has ended. Wayne Gretzky point streak ends at 23 games, even though the Kings beat the Nordiques 3-1. Bruce Dragfer's suspension has ended. McInnes of Calgary suspended. That is Al McInnes, right defense. Owen Nolan, 3 goals, no assists as the Nordiques win against Montreal. 2 teams that probably don't like each other. Ever see that Good Friday Brawl from like about 1984-85? Montreal and Anaheim trade. Nick Fukuda and Daryl Shannon going to be on new clubs. Jerry Jalley, and has his has had his point streak end at 13 games. I'll spit it out, don't you worry. Big game for Mike Eastwood. 10-1, Toronto beats Ottawa. And he's had a goal and assist and 5 points. Goal and 4 assists for 5 points. And Lemieux, his point streak now 14. So now the Lightning are 14, 23, and 4, moving up in the world. I'll show you the standings real quick. We're at 32 points. We're 11 points clear of the last place team, which is right now a tie between Anaheim and Ottawa. But we're still in last place in the Atlantic, so we got to go fix that. We're 4 points behind the Islanders. We're going to play the always tough Philadelphia Flyers. I may eyeing my line for some reason. Well, maybe that'll bring me luck. Soderstrom in goal for the Flyers and Tugnut in goal for the Bolts. Ricky is the star player right now for the Flyers. 10 goals, 23 assists, 33 points, but his plus minus is -6. And Bradley at 14 goals, 17 assists, 31 points. So this is game number 4 for you. Should be the next to last game, unless this game could take 18 and a half minutes to play. And the way I set this up, it should be about 12 to 15. We'll have time for one more game after this. And it's no score. One shot on goal, Phillies. So not a lot of action here early on. If the Lightning beat Philly here, this would be a remarkable improvement. I would just be happy not finish last place in the Atlantic. And we're only 5 points behind right now the New York Islanders for that honor. And we have our first penalty of the game. It's Hartman holding, so Philly goes on the power play. I think this is a few years before Philly had Eric Lindros on their team, who was a stud for Canada in one of the Olympics games. I think it was 1994. We have 10:30 left. It's a slow-moving game so far. Only 4 shots, and they have all belonged to the Flyers. I guess the Flyers are trying to bore the Lightning to death, which they may accomplish. Philly shot lead is now 7-0. This game moving right along. We haven't had too many stoppages of play. 8-0. Tampa Bay still looking for their first shot. "15 minutes in, they haven't gotten it yet. Philly has been kept off the shot total for a few minutes now. Under 4, still no score. Very quiet first period of play. I nearly said first quarter again. Under 3, and the fans at the Thunderdome are falling asleep. Mark Rickey called for tripping Tampa Bay with a power play, so that should get them their first shots of the game. And they do get their first shot. A Bronx cheer goes up at the Thunderdome. And we have played a period. We have no score, and we only had 9 shots in that period. 8 of them went Philly's way. So on to the second period. Philly, they would wind up playing in the 96 playoffs, Tampa Bay would, and they got eliminated. Nobody expected them to beat Philly, but they did win a couple of games, if I remember correctly. It is Brent Fidike, 2 minutes for holding, and once again, Tampa Bay on the power play. They have now upped their shot total to 3. Two and a half gone by. Under 4 to go. 7 minutes gone by in the second period. Again, a very quiet game after the last few games we have played out for you. Tampa Bay getting a whole bunch of shots off, so maybe they have found their second wind at this point. We're going to have our first goal of the game in a moment. And it goes our way, Igor Veritsky, assisted by Cron and Bureau, and we are tied at 1-0. That sounds like a law firm. Cron and Bureau. Like down here in Tampa Bay, we have Morgan, and Gilbert for the people, and they outrun all these commercials on morning television. Oh, very quickly, a penalty against Tampa Bay, and like I say, how often do you see that in this game? Team scores a goal, and they get a penalty assessed to them. Tampa Bay now leading in shots 10-9, if you can believe that. They were down 8-0 at one point. So this is a very quiet game. It's like the back in the 80s in Russia playing Czechoslovakia, where the defenses were so good they weren't even really trying to score. The defenses for both teams were a brick wall, like the wasn't the final of 1984 because they didn't play finals in Olympic hockey back then, but they Soviet Union and the Czechs played, and it was like a 2-0 game. And it was very, very defensive. High sticking against Zomner. So Philly on the power play looking to equalize. 4 minutes to go. Fighting Ricky and Lindros. So Lindros was on the Flyers at this point in time. So maybe it's the 92 Olympics I'm thinking of where Lindros was just like this. Much talked about Adonis on the Canadian team. Under 2 to go. It's still 1-0 Tampa Bay. Shots are now 13-10. Hooking against Zomner, so Philly on a power play. For the last minute 15 of the second and the first 45 seconds of the third. And that's it. 1-0 going to the third. So signs of life out of the Lightning these past 3 games that we have done in January of '94. Starting to play together, starting to work together as a team, which we really didn't see last year, but that was because Bradley was out most of the year with an injury that sidelined him a good chunk of the season. Hartman has looked like he has played the best game. His rating 69. Bradley's at 71 right now. This has been a very quiet affair. 13 minutes gone by. Still at 1-0. Shots are 18-11 Flyers. And we have slashing against Kevin Dineen. And tripping against Mark Rickey, so he's in the penalty box again. Tampa Bay with a good scoring chance here, and they cash in. Brian Bradley, assisted by Veritsky and Johnson, and we are at 2-0 in favor of Tampa Bay. So again, Lightning are about to win their 4th in a row, at least. But this is what we like to see out of an expansion team, them beginning to mature, them beginning to get their act together. And in this game, even though they have been outshot 19-16, they have a 2-0 scoreboard lead. What was it the coach in Major League said? Starting to come together, starting to come together. I think that was in the first Major League movie, maybe the second. Major League, great movie, great baseball movie. With a very young Charlie Sheen in it. Shots are even 21-all. Last 2 minutes, so let's see if the Lightning could get something going. But first, It's Lindros scoring. Karkner and Renberg. On the assist, it's 2-1. Look for the Flyers to pull their goalie here with a minute to go. Can they get a second goal in 2 minutes? And they pull the goalie, but not to be. Tampa Bay wins again, 2-1. Veritsky, Lindros, and Bureau, the stars of the game. Nobody had a bad game on either team. And we're going to play one more game for you. And let's see. Igor Veritsky is now up to a 5-game goal streak. Jeff Sanderson has had a good game. 3 goals, no assists. Hartford beat the Islanders 4-3. So play a little brass bonanza for Jeff. Dennis Savard now has tallied 1,000 games played. Montreal beat New York 4-3 in that affair, and Lemieux had his point streak end at 14 games. Bob Airey back from suspension for Pittsburgh. So now off to New York to play the Rangers, and this will be a solid test for Tampa Bay. And this is a good way to cap off this episode. It's going to be Casey facing John Van Viesbroek in goal. Brian Leach, the star player for the Rangers at the moment, 6 goals, 26 assists, 32 points, a plus-minus of +9. And let's drop the puck and go from the Garden in New York City. I would love to see Tampa Bay win 5 here, and we'd have a perfect month going into the end of the month, and we'll come back next week and do February of 1994. And if we make the playoffs by some odd miracle, we will show you all the elimination games of each playoff series in an episode, as I did back with Franchise Hockey Manager 6 and the Hartford Whalers. The first year of the Whalers playing in the NHL, they made the playoffs. In fact, they made the quarterfinals. They beat the Kings and they lost to the Islanders in that 79-80 year. Tampa Bay has gotten the first 7 shots as I go rambling on about other things. 7 minutes into the game. So we're seeing a marked improvement here by the Tampa Bay Lightning in 1994. No penalties as of yet, and what I spoke too soon as Chris King puts up his dukes and sings the old Pat Benatar song, "Hit Me With Your Best Shot" with Mike Hartman. And they fired away on each other, and they will sit for 5 minutes each. But Tampa Bay still, New York without a shot still. The Rangers, now they get up their first 2. 8.5 left to go, first period, a no score at the Garden. Of course, was a long-time home of WWF wrestling. They would always hold a show once a month in New York City. And down here in Tampa, St. Pete, you would always get them on Channel 9, the local access channel. And you would get to see, something other than Florida grappling. And let's see who picks up the first goal here. It's going to be the Rangers on the board. It is Mark Messier, assisted by Tony Amante and Shiryeyev. And it's 1-0. Tampa Bay trailing for a change here in this video of 5 games. Seeing some breaking news as I record this that the Utah Jazz has had their plane diverted. It had to make an emergency landing. This is 5:25 p.m. on March 30th, Eastern Time. That is just coming across. That the plane carrying the Utah Jazz basketball team was forced to make an emergency landing. Back to the game holding Mike Hartman. So we wish the Utah Basketball Club well. That is not good news. Of course, it has happened in other sports. Rangers go up 2-0 as Kovalev, assisted by Turcotte and Zubov, as we combine what happened in 1994 with what's going on in 2021. So I'm just seeing that information now, passing it along to you for what it's worth whenever you listen to this. End of the first period, 2-0 in favor of the New York Rangers. See, sometimes I do these games and news happens. The plane hit birds during takeoff, resulting in an engine problem and an immediate landing. So that is the latest with the Utah Jazz. We had roughing against Phil Bourque, so the Lightning will go on to power play, try to recoup their losses here, trailing 2-0. A flight chartered by the Utah Jazz has safely returned to Salt Lake City Airport after a bird strike. Boarding against Kenny Johnson. So the Rangers go on a power play. In fact, they'll be at even strength for a while. Another penalty, Messier for slashing. He sits for 2. As we try to get order restored here. Not seeing any more details other than that. It's happened in other sports where planes have crashed. Thank God it has never happened in one of the major sports in the United States. It happened to Marshall, of course, back in the early 70s. It's happened to the Manchester United Soccer Club back in the late 50s, and thank God it has not happened here. And we certainly will extend our sympathies and our best wishes. That must have been quite a scare for the Jazz to have to put up with. But it looks like everything will be okay with them, and we're very fortunate to see that part of it anyway. Shots are now 21-15 in favor of the Lightning. The Rangers still holding a 2-0 lead. Under 9 now left in the second, so the Rangers have done what few other teams have done to the Lightning in this stretch. Held them off the scoreboard. John Casey is in goal for the Lightning, and his heat level right now is ice cold. His game rating is 51.3, and then Beezer is at 88.3. Under 5 now in the second period. And now under 3. Shots are 24-15 Tampa Bay. Under 2 minutes. Now we go under a minute, and we'll see if the Lightning could get it busy in the third period, because they're going to go into it trailing by 2. Shots are 25-18 in favor of Tampa Bay. And we will wrap up this video with this game, as we're now at 58.5 almost. And Bradley has pulled an abdominal muscle, a major injury for the Lightning. And we'll have to check later and see how that will affect them. And he was hurt most of last year, so the last thing the Lightning needed, especially with a 4-game win streak going into this game, was Bradley getting hurt. He's a spark on this Lightning team. Hooking against Bergquist, and the Rangers go on a power play now. 16 and change now left in the third. 2-0 in favor of the Rangers. Under 15. So this Tuesday, March 30th, 2021, as I record this, very pleased to see that the Utah Jazz survived their air flight scare. More than 9 now gone by. Shots are 27-23 in favor of the Bolts. Can they get a goal? Chris King holding. And now Tampa Bay with a power play. with 9 minutes to go. As your anchor is fighting the hiccups and fighting the start of hiccups. Let's try to hold them off these last couple of moments. Under 6 to go. Tampa Bay still leading in shots, but trailing on the goal sheet. If the Rangers get another goal here, I think you can pretty much seal the deal, and it does. Zubov, assisted by Leach, with 14:21 gone by in the third, and we're back at that 3-goal lead again that we often see in hockey that is often dangerous. But the Lightning, with Bradley injured, that's going to really change things for the Lightning if he is going to be out for a long length of time. Under 2.5. And I think Tampa just needs to get out of town now. Under 90. Last minute. Johnson looks like he has played the best game of everybody, and this is over. Bergevin and Johnson played the best games. For the Lightning, it is 3-0 Rangers shutting out Tampa Bay. And nobody had a bad game for the Lightning. Van Beesbrook with a clean sheet, 30 saves, 30 shots. Zubov, a goal and assist. Messier, 1 goal, no assists. Tampa Bay not matching up well with the Rangers. And it's gonna be a day-to-day injury for Bradley for roughly 10 days, so not as severe as I was fearing. Kovalev of the Rangers in that game you just saw, 3-0. He has his goal streak extended to 5. Teemu Selanne of the Jets had his suspension end. Gary Suter, 3 goals and an assist as the Flames tied the Quebec Nordiques 4-4. Toronto and the Rangers swapped players. Krushelnyski and Shiryayev goes to Toronto. Krushelnyski goes to the Rangers. So that's it in terms of this video. Hope you all enjoyed the last hour and 2.5 minutes. This has been Big Paulie coming to you. Wishing you well. Godspeed. God bless. Happy gaming. Hope you enjoy your games and let the games go on. Bye-bye for now, everybody.